Friday I'm in Love. I'm your host Olivia Dudek, and today I'm in love with Mr. LaPlante.
Hi.
Mr. LaPlante, Aaron LaPlante. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Aaron is an actor and a writer and a voiceover actor as well.
Yeah.
And we know each other through Mr. J.P. Wall, the star of episode number 1, if you remember. Well, tell me a little bit about your voiceover work and what you were just telling me about Popeye and that whole ordeal.
Yeah, so the voiceover thing is one of those deals where every time I might talk about it or something, or it ever comes up in conversation, people go like, you know what's weird? I've always wanted to do voiceover, and it's like, that's not fucking weird. Everybody wants to do voiceover, you know. I mean, generally because they think it's easy, and to a degree, it is kind of easy if it's easy for you. It's not, you know what I mean, like to produce the same performance over and over again, you know. And also too, that's one thing where nobody knows how to get involved with it. Nobody, even people that are involved with it, don't know how to get involved with it. It's always just a series of, it's like a succession of serendipitous events that occur to get you there. And mine was, I'm friends with an actor who was in the Lego movie. And he was, and I can't remember how it all went down, but he was talking to the casting director, and she had mentioned something about like, oh, we want to, sometimes it's hard to find people to come in and do these like scratch tracks, these tracks where like in pre-production.
Scratch track? Please, elaborate.
So the animators are trying to work out the characters. So before they get an actor in there, they have somebody come in and voice the characters so that the animators have something to listen to, and they can come out with an animatic, which is line drawings of the characters, kind of like a comic strip. So that it just helps the process along. And so sometimes, you know, in the early days, it would just be the animators doing it. And, you know, sometimes they had really good ones, and sometimes... Kind of
like this horrible metaphor, but kind of like a stand-in for the...
yeah, exactly.
For the
absolutely, that's exactly what it is. And so, he kind of threw me a bone, was like, you should meet my friend. And so he called me up and said, hey, you have a meeting at Sony with the casting director, Mary Hidalgo, and in this day and age, you know, IMDb is great, but sometimes it can drive you fucking crazy because, oh, good, you're going to have a meeting with this person or that person. You can look them up and see all the things that they've done. And if it's been a lot of great stuff, then your mind starts turning. She was the casting director on The Incredibles, A Bug Life, Finding Nemo, Toy Story. And I'm just like, oh, shit. You like, and also, too, and it was another experience where, and you know, anybody that's in this town and starts to work or starts to do anything will have, where you have meetings. You just have meetings for no reason. It's just a meeting. What's the point of the meeting? It's just a meeting. I know, but what's the point of the meeting?
That's such a good point.
It's like a general meeting. That's what they call it. And so I go in there, and I didn't know it was supposed to be like 10 minutes. And I walked in, and I was like, "Hi, I'm Aaron." And she's like, "Hi, I'm Mary." And she sits down. She's like, "So what's up?" And I'm like, I don't know. And I started talking to her.
Here are my photos?
Here are my photos. It's a voiceover
thing. I said, what's up?
Okay, sorry. You don't need photos. That's all right. So we're talking, but what was neat though was that I just approached it as, it's just two people talking and having a conversation. So what was supposed to be like a 10-minute meeting turned out it was like 3 hours. Like I talked about everything under the sun. And the odd thing was she was sitting behind a desk, and there was a little couch that I was sitting on, and slowly but surely I started getting more comfortable.
Until you're in therapy.
So, yeah, exactly. And so we're talking, and we ordered some food and stuff. Like we just had like a great time talking. And then she was having lunch, and like, you know, so I leave, and she goes, we don't have anything for you, but whatever. And I'm like, that's fine. I didn't expect them to have it. I was just like, okay, you know, whatever. And then I remember I was outside of a job interview. I just got out of a job interview to valet park cars.
Nice.
And because I had some kind of a night job, and the interview was terrible. It was just horrible. And so I'm sitting there, and I get an email that says, hey, we're doing Popeye. And we can't find anybody that can do the voice of Bluto. Do you think you can do it? And then immediately I went on YouTube and looked up the old 30s cartoons of Bluto and heard his voice, and I was like, oh, fuck, of course I can do that. So then I went over to a friend's house. It sounds like this, hey, Popeye. And so I went to my friend's apartment, and we recorded the thing, and then we sent it over to her, and she sent it to the director. It's like perfect. So then I went there, and the director of it did like Samurai Jack and Dexter's Laboratory and the Clone Wars and all these different cartoons. His name is Gendy Tartakovsky, and so we started working on that, and that's what it was. It was like record all this dialogue, record the whole movie pretty much, and then the animators go back and work with it, producers look at it and everything. And this went on for like a year or 2 years, something like that.
I'm just you sending them samples?
Me going in there,
Oh,
no, me going in there and recording it. And then through that, another director named Kelly Asbury, he came in and he saw me doing, he was working on a project called Kazorn and the Unicorn. So then I started doing voices for his project. Then he stopped working on that project and started doing voices. He started doing the Smurfs. And so I went in there and did a bunch of voices for the Smurfs. And so it was kind of this snowball, but they were all sort of these temp tracks, you know. And what was, you know, long story short, the whole Sony hack and all that stuff screwed things up so much that a lot of those projects were abandoned. Like Popeye was just like,
never
we're
made
done.
after 2 years of working on it, right? So
It's awful. I mean, it's more awful for the director because he worked so hard on, you know, like it was his baby. But and I don't know what the business part of it was. It's not none of my business really. But so, but really, what that was, you know, like 2 years of training behind a mic in front of a director. It actually, though, that whole thing has done something for me that is valuable, and that is they put me as a writer on it, because we all sort of, I mean, they were written, but we would come up with stuff on the days, whatever, so it was a chance for me to look at IMDb and see writer, you know what I mean, and see writer on there, and that's actually a big deal to me, because, and it makes me want to have more credits as a writer. Because writing always scared the shit out of me, because it was always something that other people do and I don't do because I can't do it, or I think I can't do it. And it's hard, you know what I mean? Like, it's really hard to do. And sometimes people just all they ever do is attempt and never really finish anything. People are afraid to finish something. Everybody, I don't know if everybody has this experience, but I would just say a great majority of people where every line is just like when you're writing something and you're trying to work out a story. I liken it to like, you're like taking a shower with your socks on. You're like, what the fuck did I keep my socks on for? What in the fuck? And it's uncomfortable, but I don't want to get out and take the socks off. And then you just start putting shampoo on because it's like, well, shit, just keep the socks on. That's a weird, I don't even know if that, what comparison, but it's just like, it's a weird feeling. It's an uncomfortable feeling. I think what it is that you got into the shower with your socks on, so you opened up your computer and started this thing, and you just got to kind of get through it. But at a certain point, you just go, ah, fuck it. It's like taking your socks off and just getting out of the shower. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it takes. For me, I think it took. There's a few different things. It's funny because it actually all sort of pertains to my ex-girlfriend, because she was an actress and was doing acting, and she was really like ravenous about going out and being involved in stuff, which is exactly what she should be doing. I mean, that's what everybody should be doing, like really. But some of the stuff that she would go out and do, she'd come back and like, hey, can we practice the lines? And be like, yeah, sure. So we'd be like, I'd be reading with her, and the script was just shit.
You mean after she already did it?
No, like before, like she would get a part in something, some kind of like web series or whatever, and I would read it and be like, God, this is horrible. Like, you know, but I see, but that's the thing too. And that was, you know, obviously just like any other experience, that's like a really tragic, awful thing. But sometimes you can pull stuff creatively out of something like that. And for me, you know, I mean, you get out of a relationship, you have all this free time, all this, you know, because there's just nobody, you know, when you're in a relationship, somebody else knows where you're at all the time. And now nobody gives a shit where I'm at, so I can just go do whatever. So then I just thought, well, I may as well just use this newfound sort of energy to try to make things different. And so then I wrote my first screenplay, and the girl in it is based off of her. And this is kind of pathetic, but yeah, the girl was based off her, but it's not, the screenplay was not about a guy who gets dumped by a girl, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like based on her.
Well, you knew it was, that's Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Sure,
right?
Yeah, absolutely. But it wasn't that, it was more so that like, the character had all of her qualities, and it's because I missed her and I wanted to spend more time with her, so I wrote the script about her. You know, it's coming out of my mouth. It sounds kind of pathetic, but that was helpful too, because then you get that one, you finish a script, and you show it around. And my goal with it really was to just have it not be complete shit.
Well, yeah. I feel like that's why writing's good though, because in terms of all of our life experiences, we can just, you know, bottle them up and then use them for acting later down the road, because, you know, nothing's going to erase that experience. But I feel that writing can come in handy when we want to, you know, do something when it's fresh, you know, that feeling is fresh off the breakup. It's like, I need to, you know.
Yeah, no,
paper,
you're exercising
you know?
something, you know, it's kind of like,